well, when we're having people coming in, I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you all coming. I think you get more out of these when you come to them. So tell your friends, say, hey, you know, come to them, don't just watch the recording. We do have a couple of things we want you to be thinking about as you're going through this presentation tonight and participating in the activities. Ask yourself what you define as volunteerism, okay? And are you confident in getting your volunteer experience? So Ms. Shannon, before we do this one, so I'll send it in the email, but TRIO is a program that if you're a first generation college student and in a STEM field, which they consider all of our pre-professional pathways as STEM, you can get support. They also will have a lending library for some of the study tools. So it's something to think about in terms of opportunities. And then also, we are looking for a peer advisor. This person would be working with predominantly freshman students and be supported by supporting Ian and Sydney and myself and Shannon. There is an application out on Handshake if you want to apply for it. We would like to start someone in the spring so that we can cross-train them because Ian will be graduating in May. So if you're interested in a peer advisor position and would like to pursue that, we would also probably use you during the summer as well. So that's something to think about. If you have questions, you can ask Sydney Goodwin or Ian Taylor about their experience. And even Tom Pham, who's in the room, was a peer advisor this summer. So, all right. Okay, let's do the video. Okay. How many of you are stressed in the room? Raise your hand. Okay, we figured. So what we thought we would do first and foremost is encourage you to start thinking of ways you can be self-help focused. So I'm going to put it in the chat if you want to just turn your mic off and listen to that. And I'm going to play it. So we're going to do this for about 5 minutes.
Mindful breathing. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees. Bring your awareness to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the weight of your body on the chair or cushion. Begin by finding a comfortable posture. Lean slightly forward and back to one side and then the other. Find a comfortable balance when you come back to the center. Now, sitting up straight, feel your head and the top of your neck. How can you sit so that your head, neck, and back feel most comfortable? Take a few deep breaths. While you are breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, your stomach muscles, the muscles in your face, in your hands, and your legs. Let go of all the tension in your body. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Where do you feel it most? In your nose or your stomach? In the rise and fall of your chest? Just notice where you feel it most and allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now, notice what the breath feels like as it enters through your nose, goes down your throat, filling your lungs, and back out through your nose. Notice your stomach and chest rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. And allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now bring your awareness to the sensation of your breath in your nose. Feel your breath as it comes in and goes out. Just focus on the sensation, paying attention to each inhale and exhale. When your mind wanders or you become distracted, just notice what's going on in your head, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath, going in and out. Focus on the sensation of your breath in the foreground, allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go in the background. Now gently bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat and open your eyes.
All right. Hopefully you're now calm and relaxed. I'll be sending the link to this video in the slideshow when we bring out the recording. But you can Google any of these on YouTube. So feel free to do that.
With the original Peloton bike.
Of course. Ooh.
Classes available 24/7.
Yes. I don't know. That's relaxing. That doesn't feel very relaxing. Okay.
All right, everybody. So the question, we're going to go over a couple of things today, but the first thing is, so you want to help people. I guess that's why we're all here. Everyone wants to go into the field for that reason. We want to help people. So volunteerism, that's a great way to help people. Anyone want to tell me what volunteerism? Or I can read it. I was asking if anybody wants to tell me what volunteerism is.
Anybody from the Zoom room or from the main room want to tell us what they think volunteerism is, and don't just read that instruction. What do they think volunteerism is? I think it's giving of yourself without getting paid.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? What do you think volunteerism is?
No, I think Aaron really hit the nail on the head, but I think it's the act of, doing something without expecting anything in return, just doing that out of goodness of your heart.
Why do you think medical schools or pre-professional schools would want you to do volunteer work?
Shows you have a passion other than just coursework and medicine.
Okay, yeah. So Tom suggests that it might be because the reasons might be because it shows that you're not just about the smarts, you're more about people. When we think about it in the Zoom room, why do you think volunteerism might be an important aspect of professional school? You're a very quiet group today. All right, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and do this. So there are lots of different types of volunteerism, and there's a lot of different things that you could be doing right now. You know, a lot of us, when we think volunteerism, community service, you know, I don't know that, or actually know how to get it or what we should be doing, but as activities and roles, direct service, position, or opportunity within your school. Some of you are in sororities, fraternities. You do a lot of volunteer work. Cindy, do you do a lot of volunteer work?
I do a lot of volunteer work.
Yeah, what kind of volunteer work does your sorority do?
Well, we volunteer for things centered around our philanthropy, so we do a lot of, raising money and making things for survivors of breast cancer, or making things for people in our community to give back. So just putting time in for others without expecting anything in return.
And there's also time commitments, one-time opportunities, episodic, and travel.
So in other words, like travel, it's like if you wanted to volunteer for like going on a mission trip, or you wanted to travel like to another state, to do volunteerism that way. Or episodic would be like it's something you do a lot. In other words, like maybe every week you're at the same location doing the same type of volunteerism. Where the one-time opportunity might be something like break up voices only once a year.
There's project structures, service learning, other current and ongoing projects, for social action. So these are all things that you could be doing for professional schools, and these are all things that the committees are going to be looking for. The biggest thing when you're doing these volunteer activities, they want to see that you're getting something from it, that you're reflecting on things, and then it's making you grow as a person. Then the importance of volunteerism, pre-health pathway requirement. It's needed for dental. We've got a dental guy in there. Med and med.
We've got a couple med in the room.
That mostly
Molly and Jill and again are med.
med. Tom's med.
Tom's med,
And then-
Cindy's med, and Ian's public health.
And why it's gain experience and learn new skills. Make a difference within a community. Explore and discover career options. You like to learn things from, like, maybe by volunteering at a place, you'll be like, I would like to work here someday. Networking, it's a great way to meet people. You know, Erin tells a story about working with her daughter's soccer team and talking to other parents and finding out that one of the parents is a physician. When you're doing your volunteer work, talk to people, find out where they work. It's also good for personal and professional growth. Again, it's about reflection and reflecting on those experiences. So how can you volunteer? I know right now it's hard with the pandemic, but I think that things are opening up and things are getting better, but there's a lot of opportunities on campus. You can find opportunities within your community, or you can do something that you're passionate about. And find opportunities that match your interests, skills, or schedule. Some of the places that we've talked to that are looking for volunteers all the time, Hearts and Home Hospice, they're constantly looking for people, even to just come in and answer the phones. You're still giving of yourself to other people. You could be going and visiting people in their homes, doing end-of-life care. These are big things to do, especially if you're going to medical, you know, and seeing people in that state of life.
Okay, so I'm gonna need some participation from the group. That means everybody. So I want you to list for me, tell me your hobbies. What do you like to do for fun? I know you're so tired of doing that, right? Tell me what you like to do for fun. Ping pong.
I sure like to take care of my children for fun.
Why?
Ping pong, family. What else?
I like Boise State.
You like what?
Boise State.
You
I like the campus.
hang out on campus. What else? What else do you like to do for fun? Come on. Anybody play sports besides ping pong? Ping pong's good, not to dissonant, but I need some more sports. Come on.
I do volleyball and soccer, hiking.
Volleyball and soccer. What else?
Dogs, dogs.
Does anybody like to walk dogs?
I do.
Does anybody like to paint,
Cook,
cook,
clean,
clean,
Organize.
organize? What else? Come on. Hobbies, things you do when you're not in school.
Work.
no fun.
So fun things. Although, is your work fun?
Oh, yeah.
Like what? What's fun about work?
Talking to students.
Yeah.
Talking,
Zip line.
zip lining. Come on, come on.
Skiing.
Skiing,
Bobsled.
bobsledding. All right, I haven't heard from Wyatt or Megan. Megan says playing sports, tennis and swimming. Come on. Come on. Things that you would have done if you weren't at school, weren't at work, things you wish you could do, things you've never done before and you want to try.
Quilting,
What was it?
quilting
Quilting. I love it.
and traveling.
Traveling. Okay.
Bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping. We'll go with it, Tom. Come on, things you have never had a chance to do that you would like to try to learn how to do.
Wingsuit. Skydiving.
Wingsuit. Skydiving. Molly, Megan, things you want to do. Wyatt, Jill, things you want to do that you wish you could try.
Playing an instrument,
Playing an instrument. You have one in mind?
guitar.
I was gonna say that too. I would love to get back into guitar. So
Coach a youth basketball.
coach a youth basketball team. All right, that's a pretty good list. So here's what I'm gonna do. Open up a Google on your phone or on your computer. And I want you to search your hobby as volunteer. In other words, can I volunteer and play ping pong? Can I volunteer and go skydiving? Can I volunteer in quilting? Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to Google and pick something that involves volunteerism with your thing. Dear, 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 dear. Whoa.
What?
Which one are you picking?
Ping pong. There's not a ping pong club that you see them.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a voice and see.
Oh.
did you see they have table tennis?
Sure, ping pong club, I would do it.
Okay, so it should be wrapping up. Somebody tell me something they found.
Yeah.
Is there a volunteer, a nonprofit organization, a group, a club that participates in those activities? Just one. One, I want one from the Zoom room and one from the regular room. Sydney, you had yours like that.
Well, I enjoy Boise State and campus, so being a Bronco ambassador and volunteering my time to give campus tours to others.
Okay, so Sydney volunteers her time at Boise State Ambassadors. So she's a member of the Boise State Ambassadors and she gives tours and you don't get paid for that, right?
Correct.
You are volunteering your time. That's an example. I want one from the Zoom room. Somebody find that?
I enjoy playing soccer, and through Idaho Youth Soccer, you can volunteer as a referee or to like help get ice and like assist referees too.
Yes, and you could, there's other organizations besides those. There's also I-9 Sports. I coach for I-9 Sports for my daughter. There's YMCA. There's lots of different sports at the YMCA where you can learn. The quilting one, for example, you you can actually go to a quilting class, learn how to do it, and then start giving instruction on how to quilt. And you don't have to get paid for that. That's a community effort, right? So don't be confined. Don't think of volunteerism, it only has to be medicine, okay? I know that that's important, and I'm never gonna say it's not. But if you're so focused on only those things, you'll miss some really great value. So for example, quilting is good for dentistry because you have to use dexterity and hands to do that. And you actually could put something like that on your application. You have to answer how you gain dexterity skills. So don't confine yourself to a box. Think outside the box, especially now with the pandemic. Think about virtual volunteering, whatever it might be. Oh, is that mine? Yeah. So how do you know what you want to do? How do you know that you want to be a doctor? Or how do you know that you want to be a PA or PT or a dentist? How do you know? Well, you hopefully go out into the world and try and gain some patient exposure. You try and interact with those patients. You try to get familiar with what it's like to be around people who are sick that are not your family members. We are more willing to help our family, our mom or dad or grandma or grandpa out than we are another individual that maybe we don't know, but we need to gain that empathy and understanding and ask ourselves, can I live with this every single day? There might be an aspect of being a physician or an aspect of being a dentist that you absolutely hate and it's non-negotiable. Well, patient exposure is what enlightens you to those things. Where can you get it? Well, sure, you can get it in hospitals, you can get it in clinics and nursing facilities. I send out a lot of emails to you all about job opportunities. I send stuff to you in a lot of different ways. There's different types of patients. Don't be so focused about getting into the beautiful idea of an emergency room. It doesn't have to be an emergency room. It could just be greeting people at the front desk of a hospital. It could be taking flowers to a patient. You may not feel like you're interacting with patients that much, but you're actually interacting with them a lot. Hospice is one of my favorites because you're interacting not only with the patients, but their families. And so you get to see that they are just as much a power or just as much a play in your education. Keystone Hospice is another good example. Nurse next door. You can be a caregiver without a license. You don't have to be a CNA, ENT, phlebotomist. Those are certainly ways to gain patient exposure and get a full job. And now with us needing more healthcare providers, you probably will have a likelihood if you can get your foot in the door as like a front desk, a desk person doing the front desk work, that you can often get yourself to the back of the room too, because they're looking for medical assistants or they're looking for physical therapy aides or rehabilitation aides, chiropractic offices. So patients, individuals in our community are having trouble getting into healthcare just because we're oversaturated right now, right? So a lot of them are choosing alternative medicine modules. They're choosing naturopathic medicine, which is here. They're choosing allopathic medicine, osteopathic medicine, chiropractic, podiatric. They're trying to get in to see a provider. And a lot of times those folks just need help. It might be something that isn't necessarily direct patient care right away, but it's a networking opportunity to gain some experience. So I like this one. There are safety attendants at every hospital and location. There's St. Al's, there's St. Luke's. I use St. Al's because they do a lot of this. They would prefer to have safety attendants versus CNAs doing the safety attendant duties. And so I had a student who went through medical school and is now a full-time physician. She did this for 3 years of her education. She was a patient safety attendant. So she sat with the families of the patient and she created a plan for them. And then she actually fulfilled those plans by sitting with the patient and having that scenario play out. So she would often, she used the example one time, she interacted with a patient where he kept trying to take his tracheotomy out. He didn't like how it felt. So she would reach over and grab his hand gently and put it back down and talk to him a little bit and try and distract him so it didn't bother him anymore. So he wouldn't pull it out. That's one example. Another one, just no family members, none whatsoever around, couldn't get out of bed. It was a safety issue. And so she was able to sit with that patient and have a conversation. And that's the idea, right? It's getting to know what it's like to be around patients.
All right, so I ask, what's it like? This is the importance of observation. Similar to patient exposure, you need to be observing doctors, you need to be observing dentists, you need to be observing PAs. You want to know, is this really what I want to do? It helps you establish a greater interest in what you're doing. And like Erin said earlier, it helps you figure out what is a non-negotiable, what's something that you can't live with, or you're not going to do. So where can you observe? Some examples, again, offices, physicians, dentists, health centers, hospitals, clinics. I said hospitals twice. Laboratories, virtual observation, shadowing. Actually, Sydney's going to talk to us. Virtual shadowing is a thing. It's pretty popular. If you do it and they try to make you pay for it, don't do it. But Sydney has, this is for Sydney. Yeah, go ahead and click the next slide. Okay, so who to talk to? Virtual observation. So my friend Sydney is going to talk to you about her life as doing virtual shadowing.
Okay, hello, I'm Sydney. So about 2 summers ago, I believe, right when the pandemic was starting to formulate, I came to the conclusion that I really wanted to get some more virtual or just observation hours in general. So I had to get creative, and I ended up finding a website called eshadowing.com, and it's free. And what I liked about this site is that I had the opportunity to choose both med and PA. So I shadowed both, and at the time I was pre-PA. And through that experience in watching both, I think that it really increased value in watching both, because I was able to pick through the things that I did and didn't like about each of the professions. And from the time I started to now, I am now medicine and have switched gears. And I can say that a lot of the things that I found when I was doing virtual shadowing kind of contributed to that. And I was able to see I did and did not like this about PA, and I really did like this about medicine. And I was able to formulate a new opinion based off of those experiences. And through the time that I was doing e-shadowing, I kept a journal. So from the first person that I shadowed until I stopped shadowing, I kept a journal, and I took notes because each of the videos that I shadowed were a different specialty provider. So I was able to take note of, oh, I'm really interested in this specialty and could possibly pursue this later on. Or, ooh, I'm not interested in this specialty at all. So I kind of picked through, and I kept a journal, and it's interesting to look back at my journals because the growth and development that I had gone through from my first journal to my last journal really increased. So you can kind of see this growth in myself and the things that I noticed from the first time I shadowed till the last. So I think that virtual shadowing doesn't take much time. It's maybe an hour a week, or if you do both med and PA, 2 hours a week. And, that's a lot less time than having to get in your car and drive out to the hospital and, do all that in the hospital and drive back. So it doesn't take as much effort. And I think that it can be just as valuable as in person if you put the work in.
So what would be the pros of the situation? It sounded like it was more convenient, you were able to access it even with the hospitals being closed down. But what would be some other pros to virtual shadowing?
So pros to virtual shadowing is that I had the opportunity to hear from a lot of different specialties. And I feel like in my experience doing in-person shadowing, it was kind of, I was with one person and that's who I was with the whole in-person experience. Whereas with virtual, I was able to dip into a very wide variety of different specialties. I was able to dip into PA and med. So I think just a little bit more variety and more option.
Okay, and what would be the cons?
It can be a little bit harder to focus, not being immersed in the environment of an actual hospital and, always having to be on your toes. Sometimes I a little bit fall asleep at the switch watching a video. So you just really have to put effort into it and, keep taking your notes and just stay focused so that your mind doesn't wander off while you're watching.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that. Does anybody have any questions? For Sydney about virtual shadowing? We also put a couple of still.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you guys recommend like Ryan Gray's podcast, The Pre-Med Years for Virtual Shadowing?
So I would also recommend Dr. Benjamin Chan from the University of Utah. He also does a podcast for pre-meds. That's his role, is he actually supports pre-meds, and you don't even have to be wanting to apply to Utah or from Idaho or whatever it is. So yes, I do recommend those things. Now, here's the key. If you only do those things and you don't think about looking at the broader picture, then that's kind of being short-sighted. It's about delving in. So for example, Sydney did the virtual shadowing, but then she also went in person and met with some physicians when they started to open up a little bit more. So she wasn't only focused on virtual shadowing, it helped her narrow her search and helped her kind of get a little bit more organized. I also want you to attend our school information sessions. These are huge. I mean, I know that I can't meet everybody's needs and put them when everybody can be available. But if anything, watch the recording, learn and listen to what they share, because we always try to make sure that the career itself is showcased along with the information about the school. We provide lots of different mentorship programs across the state of Idaho, including the WAMI program. There's AHEC, which stands for Allied Health Education Coalition, and they have a scholar program that you can participate in as an undergraduate student. The application has passed for this year, and there's always next year. There's lots of different opportunities. We're having a distinguished lecturer in February. Dr. Farmer, who's a medical anthropologist, will be coming. That is another good example of getting to interact. It's about making sure this is a good fit for you. All right, On Demand. On Demand is a scribing company. They are actually they're a company that provides different types of medical assistance to St. Luke's. Virtuous. It's Virtuity for St. Alphonsus. Virtuity is the scribing company for St. Alphonsus. You do have to travel through the St. Alphonsus system. So you might end up out in Ontario or Nampa. We will have some kind of a presentation about that. Scribe America is a virtual scribe. So you actually don't have to leave the comfort of your own home. You'll be in the room telehealthing and scribing for the physician or physician assistant or whatever it might be. So those are some opportunities for scribing. We have a video that we would like you to watch. We're not going to watch the whole thing right now, but we are going to watch a part of it so that you can kind of get the gist. So on-demand scribing came last year, and this was their PowerPoint presentation. So we'll watch about 2 minutes of it. Can everybody hear it?
But we also have the salary with us. The respect program. Yes, nice to see everybody. So let's start with giving a little bit of background about us. However, when the manuscript movement the services that demand.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this is bad. We're not gonna deal with that. I'm not sure why it's doing it that bad, but we'll send it out, and if it does that glitches, I'll have everybody send it back. But I have another copy of it that we can send. Sorry about that. All right. But we work very closely. We get lots of emails from I Am Scribe. It's another form of kind of like shadowing on steroids. It's kind of like a mixture of patient exposure and shadowing. So it's a really great opportunity for students to gain some experience and get some observation. If you're thinking about PT, I always recommend chiropractic offices or, they have, for occupational therapy, there's a place called the Children's Place and the Lotus Place. Those are really good examples of ways that you can do it. And I would share with you, even if you're thinking about medicine, occupational therapy offices, physical therapy offices, they need help too, and they often have more openings than sometimes our hospitals do. So, we want you to be kind of thinking about that. So Shannon's going to run through these examples.
All right, so some in-person observation examples. So WorkU, that's with our Career Services Office. If you would like to do something like that, it's
The
interesting.
application deadline for spring is today, but if you go out to the WorkU website, you can read about the opportunities. It's not necessarily a shadowing opportunity. It's a get you in your foot in the door and get working in, say, a hospital or Blue Cross and interact and network to get that shadowing opportunity.
Awesome, thank you. And there's Taggy Orthopedics,
Lodge, yeah.
orthopedics internships. St. Alphonsus has all sorts of opportunities. So does St. Luke's. Love St. Luke's. Not that I'm not.
St. Luke's is a little harder to get into for shadowing right now. There's a lot of red tape with them, but St. Alphonsus has started to open their doors. So if you have a physician or a physical therapist or someone in mind in the St. Alphonsus system, they just need a letter from our office. All you do is email me and say, hey, Erin, can I get that letter to shadow? And I can send it to you. So we can make a copy. Shannon has that too. So, but St. Luke's is a little harder right now. They really haven't opened their doors just yet. But yeah.
So there's downtown, the Genesis World Mission. It's a free clinic, right?
It's a low income clinic. It's free for the patients. There is dental, pharmacy, and med.
And the Friendship Clinic, Terry Riley. What is Terry Riley?
Terry Riley and Friendship Clinic are very similar. They are outreach for low income, disadvantaged populations. Terry Riley actually goes to the food bank and sugar tests and blood pressure checks patients and encourages them to seek out healthcare through their system. And then Hearts and Home Hospice, we do have a physician that is predominantly works with Hearts and Home. His name is Dr. Billy Gallagher. He is a physician and he has agreed that if students will volunteer through Hearts and Home Hospice, he's willing to let them shadow his clinic.
There's Atlantis.
So Atlantis is actually an international shadowing opportunity where you get to go on a trip. It's usually abroad. So it's in the summer months. You do have to pay for the trip. So you have to pay to fly to go over there, but it's an abroad trip where you get to see surgeons and physicians. I would not use this alone. In other words, you would want to make sure you shadow US doctors if you want to work in the US, but this is a good opportunity that some students have partaken in. One of our recent graduates actually is running the America side, the US side.
You said you're at the Keys,
I do have my keys, yes. And he, I'll see if I can get a hold of him to get some more particulars about this year's group. It's Archer.
It's Archer.
Yeah.
And then we have the iHelp Foundation, which you would do during your gap year.
Yeah, iHelp is an organization and located out of Provo, Utah. And we'll have some more information from them during the Future Physician Club meeting. But they offer an MBA while you're in your application year. And then you also get healthcare experience and you get to go international trips. And you get to be exposed to things like CPR training, basic life-saving skills, EMT training, and paramedic. All right. So this all sounds well and good, Erin. But I know when I apply to medical school or PT school or dental school, they're going to look at the numbers. They're going to be so concerned about the hours that I need to pursue. Well, here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to put Jill, Molly, and Wyatt in one room together, and I'm going to have you watch this video real quick. So I'm going to put it in the chat. So if it works better for one of you to just for all three of you to watch the video inside the breakout room and then talk. Let's do that. This video is about 5 minutes, is about 3 minutes long. So we'll give you about 5 minutes in the breakout room before we close it. Let me get the breakout room. All right. Okay. Don't close the rooms, don't close the rooms. Okay.
During the pandemic or because of the pandemic, what are your school's expectations in regards to observation and or?
So we take it on case by case basis, but we have understood that it's very difficult to get those opportunities. So what we have done is our expectations is, of course, to try. And so I would tell students to, if you did try to reach out to anyone to do observations, please write that down in your application that you did try. And also reach out to organizations such as us, and we have sometimes opportunities to get those observation, I guess, opportunities where if you were on your own trying to get those, you may not get them.
How might students gain that experience in parallel forms during the pandemic?
Well, I think it's going to, again, it's kind of a case by case basis, but I think reaching out to any of clinics, nonprofits especially, I think during this pandemic that a lot of organizations have needed people that are interested in healthcare for helping out with vaccinations, with testing, and I think reaching out to the local departments of health is a very, very good opportunity. And again, if you're looking at a particular program, reach out to that particular program. Sometimes the connections are there and available.
With this application cycle, what have you witnessed to the students meet the observation expectations?
Well, in the ACOMAS application, there's actually they implemented a new essay for them to actually for you to write an essay and how did COVID affect you in your education, your application cycles as well. And so we looked at that in every application. And what we looked for was grit. We looked for someone that just didn't say, well, it's an app, I'm just going to stay home and I'm going to not be involved. And so we looked for students or applicants that actually went out and, if nothing else, did grocery shopping for the elderly. And so what we did was look at that particular side of it. If someone just didn't do anything, they really didn't get any points, but we gave additional points in this cycle for that on the application, whether they got an interview or not.
What do you think about virtual chatting, like listening to guest speakers and, talking to physicians virtually? How do you think that is viewed at your institution?
I think it's viewed good. It's just really, I don't know what your experience is, but it's really difficult for students to gain that. There's not that many opportunities. And so, again, I really think that if you're interested in going to a particular institution, get with that, get with that recruiter, advisor, counselor, and, we can help. I mean, we have probably more connections with our alumni to help out. I've literally set up many of those types of virtual shadowing experiences with our alums. So I would suggest that, and I think most organizations are going to have that ability to help out an advocate.
All right. So tell me what you heard. What did you hear when you heard that from an actual school, Pacific Northwest University in Yakima Valley? What did you hear? They're not good. They're not good. We're in New York. What did you hear? Grit. What does that mean?
Not giving up, persevering.
Perseverance, not giving up, right?
Thinking outside the box.
Thinking outside the box, right? Like, gosh, I can't do what I would have done. I can't step into the hospital and say, hey, you want to shadow a physician? What do I do in his place? Right? Did it seem positive or negative? Like, you just got to do this and you better buck up. Do you think they knew that it's happening? Do you think they know that it's going on and that people are having trouble? No, Wyatt's in there with Megan. Should be. All right. Jill and Molly, you watched a different video.
Well, I tried real hard to, but it didn't really work out for me because I'm having trouble with this meeting on my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Molly, did you watch the video from Utah?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Tell me what you heard. You got to hear a different video than the group did in the room.
So basically, the admissions they're aware that the pandemic is making it difficult for students to get in and find opportunities to shadow and volunteer, but they just want to see that you've been making an effort to try at least and to get creative about the ways that you're gaining that experience and exposure.
Okay. Wyatt, what did you hear with the video? So Molly expressed that they want you to try. They don't want you to just sit on your hands. What else did you hear from your video? Okay. So we watched one for Pacific Northwest University, which is a DO school in Yakima Valley, Washington. And we asked them some questions. We asked 3 questions. One was related to what should they be doing? One was related to virtual shadowing. And so we heard the words grit, never give up. We also heard be creative. Did you guys hear the word creative in the other video?
Yeah, multiple times.
I'm not making this stuff up, folks. These are real people, real admissions folks saying, gosh, don't confine yourself to a box. Don't get stuck saying you have to do it this way or it's the only way that it will work. Okay? So we have 15 minutes left. What kinds of questions do you have that are either created by this PowerPoint, this slide, this information that we're going through, or just questions? None? You're all good? Got it all figured out?
How much experience do I need? Certain hours, a certain amount of hours I need.
A great question. So the question was, do I need hours? Well, yeah, I would say you do need hours. But how many hours you need, think of the reason behind the activity. So if you volunteer for 40 hours, you might have a pretty good idea what that volunteer activity is like and what it's like to interact, but you really roughly, you've only been doing it for 1 week full time. And being a physician or a dentist is going to be longer than that. So I always ask the following question: do you like it? I love it. Well, why would you stop? Why would you tap out? Oh, I got 100 hours, Erin. It's not about going, oh, Erin said I have to get 100 hours, so that's what I'm going for, right? No, it's go out. Do as many as you can within the time frame and expectations of meeting your experiences. One of our colleagues at Midwestern University used an analogy that I fell in love with, and I told him I was going to steal it. Meat and potatoes versus multivitamins. Can you live on multivitamins alone? No, you will die. Okay, you can't. But do you need protein? Even if you're not a meat eater, you need protein, right? So either you're getting the protein from a protein shake, or you're a vegan and you're getting it from cheese and other things, you need protein. Okay? Potatoes are your starches and grains and some of those things, okay? So you need meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, for this analogy, are your GPA and your MCAT. You can't live without them. But you also can't live without multivitamins. So you gotta have both. And multivitamins are these experiences. They're what bring desire and passion to getting through organic chemistry of all things. Okay? Boo, yep. Okay? So they are. The vitamins are like, yes, I can do this. I love what I'm doing. I have to do it. Okay? So no specific hours are attached. There are expectations that you gain in understanding. 8 hours, okay, 40 hours, yeah, you're probably going to have a little bit of an idea. 60 hours, you might have a little bit more, right? What can you say about them? I use the example of, I had 2 students, one that had 40 hours of observation. She came into my office and she said, I have 40 hours of shadowing. Do I need more? And I said, do you like it? Oh, I love it. Can you tell me about it? Yeah, I'm doing this and this and this and this. I got to see this and this. I got to see a baby being born. I was like, that's awesome. Do you have time to do more? Yes, but I need to do research and I need to do leadership and I need to do all these other things. They go, no, you need to do what's going to help you understand your role. Do you think shadowing would do it better? She said, yes. I was like, awesome. Had the second student come in, 100 hours of shadowing. I asked the following question. What did you learn? Oh, I learned what a physician is. What did you see? I saw the physician working with patients. Really? 100 hours. You can't tell, like really? Like I even asked, I said, did you see a birth? Did you see a surgery? Did you see them interact with the patients and actually make something happen? Did they diagnose the patient? Yeah. Huh. I think you need some more hours. I don't think you got the gist. You either don't need to be a physician or you need to figure out why you're supposed to do that. So it's not the hours that's singularly important. It's why and how you can implement those hours. So if you need more hours to answer the why, then do more hours. Okay, but don't do it because it's going to look good on the application. Great question. Anything else?
I have a question about volunteering. I'm older, and so I've done volunteering throughout my life, but as you can hear, I don't have time to do as much as I would like to. So is it good enough that I try to still do like a couple hours here and there, like volunteering for Welcome Week and things like that, but that I also show that I've volunteered throughout my life?
Yes, it is good to do what you can. with what you have. Because then it shows that you're trying. They're gonna see the other beautiful things about your application. They're gonna see that you're a working mom and that you're going to school and that you have family. But here's the thing, do you ever do anything for your kids at their school? Like, do you ever go to their school and volunteer some of your time?
And since I started OChem.
But you did, right?
I did, yeah.
Hi, that counts. I hate using the word count because that means you're counting hours, but it does. I think you have to realize it's when you give of yourself without getting any money for it. What does a mom do? Volunteers her entire life to her children. Did you ever think of putting your mom experience on your application?
Well, I was told I should avoid it by someone else that wasn't you.
Well, here's what I would say, it's how you market it. If you're using that as your only coin in the wallet, it's a problem. But if you're saying, I know that I'm a mom and this is important to me, it's a value of mine, and it's why I want to pursue medicine, that's just as valuable. Okay. Again, Shannon started Cohort with why. Why do you want to do this? Choose your experiences because you want to answer that question. It will lead you to the right number of hours and experiences and what counts. It will, I promise. You'll give you your multivitamins. Okay. So Shannon and I have a question. We're always trying to make these things better. How many of you want to be connected to each other? In other words, like you want some form of connection with your fellow peers, your students. You can raise your hand or thumbs up. I would like to hear how you define that. What's connection to you? You can put it in the chat, you can vocalize it. What's connection?
Doing things together in person.
Okay, you want things in person, okay?
I think another form of connecting would be just communicating like possible volunteer opportunities. Like let's say you have a friend that is in dental and I want to do dental. You can say, hey, there's this opportunity over here. Do you want to do it with me?
Okay, so I heard a way to connect with each other and say, hey, I have this opportunity, did you know about it? And then I'd like to be in person with you and see your face and actually talk to you. What else? In the room here too, and then I haven't heard from Molly. What do you think? Ian, do you want to connect with your fellow peers?
Yeah, I mean, that's my job.
Your job. What does connection mean to you?
I mean, I just like hearing other people's perspectives. That's big for me.
Okay. Okay, hearing other people's perspectives. Does it always have to be in person? Like,
Not necessarily. I mean, like, just listening to like Jill's experiences, like, I feel like I've never met Jill, but like, I feel like I got some sort of connection there now.
so there's a connection between Jill and Ian just from hearing Jill share, right? So please share ideas. Tom, what do you think? What do you want to be connected and what does that look to you?
I was just more of like building communities, so just like bounce ideas off each other. That's kind of like what's in the same.
Okay. So 2 things I want to share with you. One, next Wednesday at 5:30 via Zoom, because we want as many students as possible to participate. We're doing a program called Finding Your Passion, Answering the Why. And it's being hosted through the College of Health Science with the deans. Okay, the deans are participating. There is a board out, a post-it board out by the stairs for you to actually connect with other people and see what they wrote about their why. Please engage in that if you're in the Norco building. Please watch for the newsletter. It should go out tonight. Come hell or high water, we need to get the letter out. And it has the link to this invite for this Wednesday activity. Another place for you to connect with other people in healthcare pursuing their goals, okay? What was the other one? I'm gonna be sending out a survey. Shannon and I, in the next month, are gonna craft a survey. We are interested in the possibility of using social media as a venue for you all to connect to each other and post stuff like a bulletin board or, you know, quick Instagram video or something. And we would like to do it with LinkedIn only because I'd like to bring the alumni to the table. I'd like to bring the people who are practitioners who already graduated and are now in their fields. Is that of something of interest to you all? Thumbs up, yes or no? Okay. All right, well, I want to be mindful of your time. I know you're all studying really, really hard. We have one more of these that Shannon will be hosting in November. It's actually December. It's going to be scheduled for December 2nd. It is a Thursday at 5. Okay, so you have a month to plan and wiggle your schedule around. December 2nd at 5 o'clock. It'll be via Zoom and in person in this room, in room 117. And I'll be posting the recording from this video short as soon as I get it uploaded. Okay. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Sorry, my mask is really itchy. I don't think it got, I think it got something on it. All right, I'll hang out. Let me know if you need anything. I'm gonna stop the recording first.